to something meaningful.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Today I wanted to come on here and talk about my family that I invited for this podcast to join me so that we can chat together about our growing up, our lives, and we can put together like a dossier in form of words, in form of this recorded podcast for our future generations to come, namely my twins and also my niece coming soon this year. So far, my family that I've invited have not been able to join me yet, but I'm still expecting them to join soon. I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful. I consider that there might be challenges of, you know, putting yourself out there, putting yourself into the public eye, that you may consider it to be something intimidating. I think that a lot of people have fear of maybe judgment, what other people would say after listening to them or looking at them. This is something that I'm aware of. And I haven't really thought about it that way. I just focused on the goal, which is to record this, build my personal brand, leave some advice and some guidance for my kids, for my son who's going to listen to this in future, just to give them a sort of head start. They're going to figure their life out by themselves and being directed by God. But I just wanted to give them something that gives them a perspective of history of where they're coming from that could help with direction of where they're going. So this focus on that really pushed me so much that I disregarded everything else regarding what if people say something about me that I don't like when I put myself out there on a podcast, on a public platform that anyone can see and review. I'm not really concerned about that, if I'm being honest. And I think that could also help my family that are watching, that could listen to this and also consider that too. If this is something important for them enough, if this is something that they're buying into, this idea, then it shouldn't be that difficult. And whether it's a good camera or a good recording device, a good lighting, whatever it may be, we have to start somewhere. I'm aware that this is not perfect. I'm aware that we should not despise humble beginnings, as the scripture says, because I believe that small things compound into eventual large things that could make a huge change and huge impact on the world and on our lives. So I just wanted to come on here this lovely Sunday, as I have opportunity to do so on Sundays, and say and share this and say that when you're doing something meaningful to you, the barriers, the obstacles become very minute. They become very minimal. And what the goal is, the target is, becomes so important. You're consumed by it so much that everything else is disregarded. I look back at the scripture in Hebrews where it talks about how Jesus focused on the task that was ahead of him and did not consider it, the pain that he was going through, did not consider things that he was facing. Being human when he was actually God was not an important thing for him, but he just had to focus on fulfilling the objective that the Father had sent him to do, which was to die on the cross so that the relationship of humanity can be restored back to the Father. There may be the reconciliation to the Father. So that's him being an example, a model for us to follow, an archetype of facing everything that is humanly possible for someone to go through. And even the worst things that could happen to anyone happened to him. And he focused on the goal and the objective and accomplished it. He started from a manger. So I'm looking at this as I'm starting this, and you can start it too from wherever place it might be. How lowly, how low, how humble the place may be, with whatever equipment you may have, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you've started, you're moving forward. I think there's a famous quote that whether you crawl, you walk, or you run, or you fly, as long as you are moving, that is what matters. So here we are crawling, but we have started, and I look forward to more people joining in that I've extended this invitation to, and let's see ourselves soar like an eagle, and we're gonna leave something valuable for someone who's gonna listen to this, and we're gonna say one day we did something meaningful. This is all I got for today. See you next Sunday. See you next week. Peace, love, and light. Cheers.